Hi, folks, welcome back. So, just a few days ago, Google and Microsoft teamed up and released an early look at a new protocol called WebMCP. And in this video, I want to take a look at what it is, how it works, what problem it solves. So, they're piggybacking a little bit of the popularity and success of MCP. And while in spirit, this is very similar to MCP in that it is a tool calling protocol, some of the use cases and the protocol itself are very different. So first of all, what problem is this meant to solve? This is meant to solve the problem of agents using web interfaces. So today, when you have an agent like, say, ChatGPT Atlas, an in-browser agent, an agent that is trying to automate actions on the web. So all these agentic browsers like ChatGPT Atlas, or even just the Gemini feature in Chrome or Perplexity Comet, the way all these agents work is they use either one or a combination of two mechanisms. One is to look at the DOM, the document object model, which is to say, you look at the HTML and parse it and try to understand what the page is about. So you look at the text of the HTML and the DOM of this page. The other technique is visual understanding. So the agent will take screenshots of what's displayed on the web page and then try to use its image understanding to infer what's on the screen and what to do next, what button to click, or what information is shown, and so on. And these techniques are both imperfect. They're somewhat flaky because they're trying to infer the intent and the functionality of the web page. And WebMCP is trying to solve that problem by saying, look, let's not try to infer these things. Let's give web developers a clean API such that they themselves can say on the page what tools and actions are available on the page. So this is something that the developer of this web page or web app has to do when they're publishing this web page. And they have two slightly different APIs for how to do this. One is just a JavaScript API, which declares what the tool is, its description, its input and output schema, and how to execute the tool. So in the JavaScript for the web page, you can call this register tool method to describe and register a tool that carries out some action on the page. They also have a declarative API, and this is much more attached to forms on the page. So if you just add some metadata to a form that is already on the page, that will also translate to a tool. And the consumer of all these tools really is an AI agent in the browser that is running very much with the user's permission and interaction. So if I tell Gemini in Chrome to perform an action on this page and the page supports WebMCP, instead of trying to understand the DOM or understand the visual layout of the page, it will know right away by looking at the exposed tools. And you can see this in action. I had to download the Chrome beta because the support for this isn't in Chrome mainline yet. They have a flag in Chrome to enable it, and they have a couple of small, simple web apps and extensions. So I'll leave links to all this below. This is a very simple flight search demo, and they have a little Chrome extension made by the authors of this protocol that looks at what tools are exposed on this page. And this is a very simple kind of mocked out flight search demo, and the only tool on this page is to look for flights. And in fact, I think they have even hard-coded the cities for which this flight search works. Yeah, I need it to be between London and NYC with a round trip. So as you can see, when you invoke this extension, it looks to see if this page has declared any WebMCP tools. And in this case, it has, and it's called search flights. And this is the description and the schema. And you can actually go ahead and call search flights. Now, in real usage, this tool call will be driven by an LLM. So if I were to invoke Gemini here, Gemini would look up the tools available and translate some sort of natural language utterance from me into this tool call. But in this demo, we're just going to invoke the tool call ourselves directly. And you can see how that translated to a flight search request with the parameters that I gave. So I think this is pretty cool because, like I said, both DOM understanding and visual understanding tend to be flaky and unreliable. And also they use a ton of tokens. They're very, very token heavy, so they're expensive and slow as well. And if this gets uptake, so note that the developer of the page has to insert all these tool definitions into their web page, either using this register tool API or this declarative API with forms on the page. But if this gets widespread adoption, then agentic browsing will become much more reliable, much faster, and hopefully it'll be a virtuous cycle where more pages having this makes agentic browsing better, and so more developers will want to incorporate this into their web page. But cool protocol, cool development overall. Hope to see it gain more adoption. All right, I hope that was useful. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing, like the video, and I will see you in the next one.